Hey friends, today let's talk productivity tools. And specifically, we're going to discuss Google Keep, Notion, and Trello. Now, these are the ones that I mainly use. There are so many out there, but we're going to focus on these for today and some pros and cons and how you could make them work for you. All right, so let's dive in. First up is Google Keep. And I use this primarily as a note taking app. And I also sometimes use it as a mini planner almost and write out my lists or schedule for the week, meal plan. I like it because it is easy to access between both my laptop and my phone. And being a part of the Google Suite allows it to sync and also integrate with things like Drive, Docs, all of that. So that is the main reason I use it and one of the main pros to that program. Another good thing about it is it's just really easy to use. It's a simple interface and there's really not any learning curve to it. You can pretty much open and go and start taking notes right away. There are some organizational features that you can add, like tags to organize things. You could add different colors, and they just added a feature on changing the text, like adding bold, italics, color size, that kind of thing. So that is pretty cool to have as well. Another great thing is that you can set up a reminder in it. Just if you're using it for notes anyway and you remember something you need to do, there is a reminder feature that it will give you a push notification, at least on mobile, to get that thing done. So that is something else that is nice about Google Keep. All right, so going into a couple of downsides is that it's hard to use for any sort of like project management, which it's not made for that. It's a note-taking app. So, but that also means it's probably not going to be an all-in-one sort of thing for a full range of organizational capabilities. So keep that in mind too as you're figuring out what tool and uses are best for you. Okay, now that we've covered some pros and cons to Google Keep, let's move on to a program called Notion. All right, so Notion is a very robust program. It has so many capabilities, and I think I personally haven't really began to tap into all of the functions it has. But you can do boards like Trello in it, you can do calendar, you can have databases that even link to each other. You can do a checklist or just kind of use it as more of a document. And that all of it kind of can sync and work together. It is a really cool software. And it also syncs really well between mobile and desktop. That is something that is also really nice about it. So yes, the main pros of Notion is the robust capabilities that you can do so much within one centralized platform. However, the main downside is that there's a bit of a learning curve. A lot of the main things are pretty simple, like just checklists, notes, kind of having that all synced in one place. That's not too hard to learn, but once you kind of dig into some of the database options, some of that can be a little tricky and maybe not the most user friendly. So those are the main kind of cons of it, that it can be kind of a learning curve to really implement it to the full extent. All right, so finally, let's talk about Trello. Now, Trello has been around for a while. It is super popular for organization and project management. And it is something that I've used a lot, kind of off and on, and I do enjoy how visual the platform is, creating the cards. creating the projects. And when working with clients, it was my favorite collaboration tool. If more than one person has access to a board, it's really easy to communicate and kind of work together in that aspect. Another pro is that it's really user friendly and pretty easy to figure out for the most part. Having the boards, lists, and cards functions, and you can get a little more complex now with automations and linking different things. That is a nice feature, and that you can also switch to a calendar view from the board view. That is really nice for project planning as well. I've used that kind of in the content planning aspect of business. I like how I can have a project view and then switch over to a calendar view and see the same thing in kind of a different light to kind of get your head around the big picture. So that is a nice feature of Trello. So, and a couple cons of it is just that it lacks some of the advanced features if you are trying to get really nitty gritty into some project management, linking different things. That can become kind of difficult. I've also not always been a big fan of when you need to write a description in the cards. Sometimes I need more of the document feature, and that's why sometimes for that kind of thing, I lean more towards Notion because it's easier to type out a longer list or description of things and having more options to do that in that light. So that is just something to consider as you're putting together your suite of tools. All right, so just to recap, we covered some pros and cons of my top three tools I use to stay productive, and that is Google Keep, Trello, and Notion. All right, so I would love to learn what you like to use in your productivity, project management, all of that sort of things. What are your favorite tools? What do you like about them? What features do you wish they had? And what does your full suite look like as you are trying to manage your life? All right, so leave me a comment and let me know your preferences, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.